The room was too bright for what it was meant to hold. Glass walls, polished table, bottled water arranged like props. My mother sat upright, handbag clasped in both hands as if she were attending a luncheon instead of a will reading. My sister leaned back comfortably, crossing one leg over the other. She had always known how to look like she belonged somewhere. I chose the chair slightly away from them, not dramatically distant, just enough to breathe. When the lawyer began, his tone was neutral, practiced. Assets, real estate, liquid accounts. The numbers were large enough to make the air feel different. Then it came. $6.9 million to be transferred to the beneficiary, Amelia Hart, under the conditions outlined herein. My sister exhaled softly through her nose. Not surprise, confirmation. My mother let out a small, pleased laugh and touched her arm. "We always knew you'd carry things properly," she said. The lawyer continued. "To Daniel Hart, $1. The pause after my name felt longer than it was. A single dollar. My father shifted in his seat. My mother didn't hesitate. "Well," she said lightly, as if explaining the weather, "some kids just don't measure up. You always wanted to do things your own way. Now you can." There was a smile on her face. Not cruel. Worse, satisfied. I looked at the dollar figure printed beside my name. It didn't sting the way it should have. Felt familiar. There's a kind of rejection that happens loudly. And then there's the quiet version, the scholarships that get a nod instead of applause. The promotions that are called luck. The risks framed as irresponsibility. I'd spent most of my life earning things no one in that room believed I deserved. I had built my consulting firm without family money, turned down their offers to come back home, and join my father's company under his supervision. I preferred autonomy over approval. Still, seeing it reduced to $1 had a finality to it. I stood slightly, intending to leave. Not dramatically, just cleanly. "Before we conclude," the lawyer said. I paused. "There is a final letter from Mr. Hart, attached separately to the will. It includes structural directives regarding the disbursement of the $6.9 million. My mother frowned. Structural directives. He already divided it. The lawyer didn't answer her. He unfolded another document. This amount is not an outright transfer. The $6.9 million is placed into a legacy trust. It will be released in structured distributions contingent upon stewardship benchmarks, ethical compliance, philanthropic targets, and operational transparency. Amelia straightened. "What does that mean?" she asked. "It means," the lawyer continued evenly, "that the beneficiary does not have unilateral control over the funds." The air changed. "Overseen by an independent review board," he read, "with final discretionary authority granted to the appointed trustee." My mother leaned forward. "Who is the trustee?" The lawyer looked up. "Daniel Hart." No one laughed this time. He continued reading. "Daniel has demonstrated independent judgment, resilience without entitlement, and the capacity to separate ego from responsibility. I trust him to protect this family's legacy, not indulge it." My sister's face drained of color. Not outrage, but recalculation. My mother opened her mouth. "This is ridiculous. He was always—" "Mrs. Hart," the lawyer interrupted gently but firmly, "this structure has already been filed and executed. The trust is legally binding. Mr. Daniel Hart is the sole trustee and chair of oversight. All distributions require his signed authorization." There it was, the unmistakable shift. Not theatrical, not explosive, legal. My father cleared his throat, the sound small in the bright room. "So he controls whether she gets it?" he asked. "He ensures compliance with the conditions your father specified," the lawyer replied. "If benchmarks are met, funds are released accordingly. If not, they are withheld or redirected toward the philanthropic arms outlined here." My mother's voice sharpened. "This is manipulation." He knew what he was doing. "Yes," the lawyer said calmly. "He did." Silence settled in layers. I hadn't known. Not about this. Grandpa and I hadn't been especially sentimental with each other. We talked about business models, long-term planning, risk tolerance. He once told me, approval is a currency most people overspend chasing. I hadn't realized he'd been watching. My sister finally looked at me, not with the superiority from earlier, but with something more complex. Wariness, maybe even reluctant respect. This isn't personal, she said carefully. I met her gaze. It isn't, I agreed, and I meant it, because this didn't feel like revenge. Felt like work. Responsibility is heavier than money. It requires documentation, audits, difficult conversations. It means saying no when it would be easier to say yes. It means being blamed for restraint. My mother stood abruptly. He's turning siblings against each other even after he's gone. No, I said quietly. He's forcing accountability. She looked at me as if I had confirmed something she'd suspected all along, that I wasn't like them. Maybe I wasn't. The lawyer slid a folder toward me. If you choose to accept the trusteeship, we'll need your signature acknowledging fiduciary responsibility. There was a weight to that sentence. I could refuse, walk away, let the court appoint someone else. But walking away would mean confirming their narrative, that I lacked the discipline for power. I picked up the pen. The scratch of ink against paper sounded louder than it should have. When I finished, I closed the folder and handed it back without ceremony. My sister exhaled slowly. So what happens now? We schedule the first compliance review within 90 days, I said. My voice surprised me, steady, procedural. You'll receive documentation outlining expectations. My father studied me differently now. Not warmly, not proudly, but with recognition. My mother didn't speak again. As we stood to leave, no one congratulated anyone. There was no apology, no reconciliation, just consequence. In the hallway outside the office, the afternoon light was softer. My phone buzzed with messages from my operations team about a pending merger review. Real work. My work. My sister stopped beside me. You're not going to punish me for this, are you? She asked. I don't punish, I said. I evaluate. She nodded once. It was enough. I walked to the elevator alone. For years I had wanted my parents to say they were wrong about me, to admit I measured up, to see me. Instead, I received something quieter. Authority without applause. Validation without affection. It wasn't the kind I used to chase, but it was real.